Athletes such as golfer Bryson DeChambeau and former NFL linebacker Lawrence Taylor will join the council. The president also says this council will fix college football. How to fix Gaza, though. President Trump's top diplomats in Israel will visit food distribution sites in the Strip tomorrow. Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House.
Amid a worsening humanitarian situation in the war-torn territory, U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff will inspect aid centers in Gaza, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says.
And secure a plan to deliver more food and meet with local Gazans to hear firsthand about this dire situation on the ground.
Dozens of Palestinians have been killed attempting to reach aid sites. Israeli officials say aid trucks have been surrounded by mobs and soldiers fired warning shots. On social media, President Trump wrote the fastest way to end the humanitarian crisis is for Hamas to surrender and release the hostages. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Just a few hours left in President Trump's trade deadline. We're hearing about a country getting a bit of an extension. Here's Fox's Peter Ducey at the White House.
We learned that there's going to be a 90-day delay for negotiations with Mexico because apparently things are just so complicated with the border right now. And we know that China has a deadline until August 12th. Scott Besson said this morning that they're...
And the president had a phone call today with Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum saying goods from Mexico imported into the U.S. would continue to face a 25% tariff while they're negotiating. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What a company is doing. I'm Jake McDaniel. Here's what's trending this hour. Fox Corporation is acquiring a 1/3 interest in Penske Entertainment. John Herrick reports.
Leaders of both IndyCar and Fox say this will enhance promotion and star-building opportunities for the IndyCar drivers and allow them to have a more hyper-engaged digital strategy, among other things. This deal also includes a multi-year extension of Fox Sports' media rights for IndyCar. Penske Entertainment owns the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the IndyCar Series.
A fire broke out at an auto salvage yard on Indy's west side Wednesday morning. It happened on North Mickley Avenue around 9:30.
No buildings were involved at all. It just wound up being one of the big piles of scrap on fire.
Captain Eric Bannister with the Wayne Township Fire Department says no idea on how the fire started, but it took firefighters about an hour to get it under control.
Get enough water on it to get it under control. Plus, we also utilize the scrap yard itself. There are professionals there that operate the equipment, so a lot of heavy equipment operators to help us pull the pile apart so we can get down to the hot spots.
Bannister says no injuries were reported. With the Indiana State Fair opening Friday, it's all about celebrating the traditional sight and sounds of the fair that people love, says Chief Marketing Officer of the Indiana State Fair Commission, Anna Welchel.
And then we also have a lot of great discount days and great ways to save. $2 Tuesdays, BMV Day, AAA Day. Definitely want to make sure that people know how to save and plan ahead.
The State Fair goes through the 17th and it's closed on Mondays. You can check out the Indiana State Fair's website for more info. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Here's the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
A beautiful start to August. Highs will be in the upper 70s. Some hazy skies in the mix, but mainly sunny and a breeze out of the northeast. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Now through Monday, save an extra 25% off all in-stock outdoor furniture. Sleep up to 10 degrees cooler and the lowest price guaranteed on every mattress. And save up to 50% off Lazy Boy, Smith Brothers, Flex Steel, and lift chairs. Plus, we pay your sales tax and deliver it all for free. Sale ends Monday only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
When people think sleep apnea, they think CPAP. Now at Advent, we do all we can to help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine. And most sleep apnea sufferers who come to Advent are going to be able to avoid a CPAP altogether. Our unique Advent approach using simple in-office solutions can get your nose working and throat open all under one roof. You see, the root of every snoring and obstructive sleep apnea problem lies within the throat, nose, or both. At Advent, we know when we get the nose and throat working properly, most snoring and sleep apnea problems will subside. And we have the most simple and convenient, ultra-effective in-office solutions that can do just that. And this is why people have traveled by planes, trains, and automobiles from corners of the world you would never think of to find the sleep apnea and snoring relief you won't find elsewhere.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Advent knows.
Most insurance accepted.
Luxury awaits you at Tom Roush Lincoln & Fishers. Come see the full line of breathtaking Lincoln vehicles at Indiana's premier Lincoln dealership. From the moment you arrive at Tom Roush Lincoln, you'll know you've arrived. Shop over 200 new Lincolns in our state-of-the-art family-owned and operated dealership with no pressure. Just the award-winning service and respect you deserve. Plus, with any new Lincoln, your first 5 oil changes are on us. Luxury awaits you at Tom Roush Lincoln & Fishers.
First 5 oil changes complimentary with any new Lincoln purchase or lease. See dealer for complete details.
Stay near home with Home Court Advantage for your heart. Rated #1 in Indiana 2 years in a row by Health Grades. Franciscan Health offers top-rated cardiac care because every heartbeat is extraordinary. Learn more at franciscanhealth.org/heartcare.
Enjoy the soundtrack of summer with animals, music, food, rides, and more at the 2025 Indiana State Fair, presented by Get Prepared Indiana. Save now on discounted tickets.
Tony Kinnett.
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 Host of the Tony Kinnett Cast.
Let's get down to business.
You're listening to the Tony Kinnett Cast on 93 WIBC.
Here on the Daily 60.
Good evening, Indianapolis. We are just 2 shows away from my carefully enacted master plan of achieving all Ethan broadcast all the time. Ethan morning show, midday show, afternoon drive show, evening show, the whole kit and caboodle. We did Casey and Kendall earlier today, and now the Tony Kinnett Cast, only 2 shows down. You better watch out, Tony Katz and Hammer and Nigel. I'm coming for you. I'm just kidding. I'm happy to be here, thankful to be asked to fill in. We've got a lot to cover. Some of this you heard earlier in the day. However, there was a bit of breaking news that Abdul Shabazz just announced from Indy Politics, noting that Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith has fired his senior advisor, Erin Sheridan, who says that she had no disciplinary issues and when asked to resign without cause, refused, then was fired. No public statement thus far, and Sheridan isn't commenting further. Abdul says, stay tuned. And when you hear those words, you know the juicy part is yet to come. Abdul is not going to let that hang on the vine. So we're going to get more information about what precipitated this. One questions what would cause Micah Beckwith to fire his senior advisor, especially when I have personally seen this woman go to bat for him on social media. For example, when Rob has criticized misdeeds or inaction from the lieutenant governor's office, Erin Sheridan was right there to say, hey, look, we're all part of the same team here. Why can't we play nice and get along? And then now to be fired by the lieutenant governor, one wonders what has went so drastically wrong. I'm sure we'll find more information in the coming days. Maybe we'll be able to get her on for an episode of Saturday Night on the Circle to comment further. Who knows? But stay tuned for more. It's going to be a fascinating watch. Of course, there's been a lot going on in Indianapolis news recently, including an incredible tragedy yesterday, a mass casualty incident potentially averted by the last-minute actions of a pilot as her plane was falling through the sky shortly after taking off from Greenwood Airport. It crashed in the vicinity of Main Street and Chic Road, almost hitting a Circle K gas station close to Interstate 65. Had that happened, it could have been even more tragic. The pilot of the airplane unfortunately perished and was later identified by the Johnson County coroner, as reported by WTHR.
Her name is Antu Nguyen. Officials here tell us she was the only person inside that plane. According to her social media, she says she was a B-767 ferry pilot, and she had posted several of her videos on social media, including one just this morning talking about flying from Indiana to Pennsylvania today. We've also learned this afternoon she is a Purdue graduate. Now, according to the university, Nguyen grew up in Vietnam and was always fascinated by what she called flying machines in the sky. When she was 12, Purdue says she came to the United States and eventually studied math and aerospace engineering at Purdue. They say she also founded a nonprofit in 2018 for Asian women in aerospace. Then in 2020, she opened Dragonflight Training Academy down in Florida. And just last year, she became the 10th woman ever to fly solo around the world, according to the university. In that final video she posted really just hours ago. She made a comment about how she was excited to be back in the plane. It felt like more than a flight. It felt like inspiration and a mission to inspire the next generation of pilots.
By all accounts, it seems this woman died doing what she loved, and if you have to go anyway, at least doing what you love would be very freeing in some ways. I'm sure it doesn't alleviate the sadness for her family members that she's left behind, but her quick thinking and dedication in the final moments averted what could have been, again, a much larger tragedy, and for that we thank her. And hopefully we'll find more information in the coming days, what reason for the airplane crash, because it's so seldom. I mean, air travel generally is one of the safer ways to travel, and by all accounts, this is a woman who knew what she was doing operating the airplane. What caused it to go down remains a mystery. Elsewhere in Indianapolis, there was an officer-involved shooting on the near west side that almost resulted in an officer fatality. Fortunately, he was able to provide himself medical assistance with a tourniquet on the scene. As reported by IMPD, this is what went down.
On July 29th, 2025, shortly after 2 p.m., an IMPD officer began following a carjacked vehicle near the intersection of West 16th Street and North Harding Street after running a license plate check. The vehicle entered a nearby apartment complex, and at that point, the IMPD North District officer in fully marked car activated his emergency lights, stopped the vehicle. The carjacked vehicle pulled into a parking spot in the apartment complex located at 2100 Emmerich Lane. A total of 4 suspects were in the vehicle, and 1 male passenger immediately ran from the vehicle. At that moment, the officer attempted to take the driver into custody and had him seated on the ground. As this was happening, 2 additional passengers exited the vehicle. One of those passengers walked around to the front of the vehicle and began firing in the direction of the officer. The IMPD officer was struck by gunfire at least 3 times, and the officer returned fire, resulting in an officer-involved shooting.
3 suspects remain in custody. 1 is at large. But to imagine that this took place after what should have been a simple traffic stop demonstrates the danger that our officers behind the uniform put themselves through on a daily basis. And some of these, what should be, easy interactions go south incredibly quickly. And it's sad to see the decay of the city continue to decline, mostly, in my opinion, caused by the lax prosecutorial approach from prosecutor Ryan, friend of the miscreant Mears, who refuses to hold violent criminals to account, many of whom are quoted as saying that they feel they have a get-out-of-jail free card under this prosecutor, and they are emboldened to take these violent actions when they know that punishment is not likely to occur. John Herrick, our news director here at WIBC, was on the scene interviewing residents in the neighborhood, and even other residents who have to put up with and tolerate gunshots in their backyard every day have noted Indianapolis has gotten significantly worse over the last decade. It simply wasn't this way in the past.
So we're at a crime scene. What are you seeing? What are you hearing?
I heard that it was a shooting over here in my apartment complex. It kind of puts you on edge because I live here with 3 young little boys. I'm a single mom, so like I said, every night we hear gunshots. But for it to happen directly in our apartment complex, that's a problem, and that's scary. That's too close to home, and that makes you feel like you're not safe. I feel like if we had some more security over here, then it would be better, because living over here, you see so many people with guns, extendos, it makes you nervous. Guns make me uneasy, so I don't like guns,
There's shell casings on the ground and there's a body on the ground. That's real.
That's real. Yeah, that's not a movie. That's real. You see the body, you see the blood, you see the officers getting the shell casings. That's real, and that's something that I don't want my boys to see. I'm glad that they didn't see it, but like I said, it's too close to home. It makes you scared. It's too much killing in the city. Indianapolis got so bad. It didn't used to be this bad.
Well, this whole place sucks. That's right, it sucks.
And I feel for her because I deal with the same situation where I live over on the Near East Side, where all too often you got to play the game, is it gunshots or fireworks? But the dirty little secret is we know it's probably not fireworks. It is more likely to be gunshots right now in the city of Indianapolis, and this is an unsustainable approach for the city to continue to deal with these violent attacks. Eventually, there has to be consequences and accountability, but this prosecutor's office isn't up to the task of holding these individuals to account for their bad actions. In this case, IMPD reported that the driver, 19-year-old Maki Starks, and his passenger, 19-year-old Malik Starks, were both arrested for resisting law enforcement. One of them is suspected to be the shooter. And although I haven't looked this up on my case, I would wager this has not been their first interaction with law enforcement. You usually don't jump from petty crime to violent assault against a police officer overnight. This is built up over a period of time where you become emboldened by getting away with other crimes and past actions. And unfortunately, this is something that we have to deal with in the city of Indianapolis, but it should not be this way. And if the community steps up, demands accountability, and most importantly, makes a change, it shouldn't be a partisan issue. Terry Curry, the former prosecutor, was a Democrat, but at least he would prosecute criminals in a way that Ryan, friend of the miscreant Mears, refuses to. Thanks for listening to 93 WIBC. Coming up next, we're going to discuss a rather troubling accusation that was levied against a sitting city council member that appears to have been entirely manufactured. At least this, according to the reporting that is currently available. Now, the Indianapolis City Council has certainly been plagued by its fair share of sexual impropriety scandals. This does not appear to be one of them, and we'll give you more details about that coming up next. Stay tuned.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
There's something timeless about radio. It's where stories are told, ideas are shared, and communities stay connected. Our generation grew up with it, and we still believe in the power of tuning in. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe planning for retirement should feel just as familiar and trusted. That's why we're bringing real conversations and practical advice to the airwaves. Join us every Sunday at 9 p.m. for our Retire with Purpose Radio Hour, right here on 93.1 WIBC. We'll talk about what really matters in retirement, income you can count on, choices you can feel good about, and a future that reflects your values. Because some things, like good planning and good radio, never go out of style. Howard Bailey Financial, retirement planning that speaks your language. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com. The Retire with Purpose Radio Hour is a paid placement on each airing station.
So, where's the lake?
Not here.
But it says Great Lakes Honda of Fishers.
Right. I just don't see a lake.
Who needs a lake when you can lease a 2025 HRV LX all-wheel drive for $329 a month and $0 down?
That definitely won't soak our bank account.
Oh, it's the old Honda of Fishers.
Great Lakes, great people, great cars.
But no actual lake.
Visit us off State Road 37 for special pricing during our summer sales event. With approved credit through Honda Financial. In-stock new Hondas only, not combinable with other offers. All fees due at signing. Loyalty or conquest rebates may apply. Offer ends July 31st. See dealer for details.
It's National Carpet Cleaning Month, and Zero Res is celebrating. Get 3 rooms zero-resified and get 1 room free and $50 off air duct cleaning, too. ZeroResIndy.com.
The Attorney General's Unclaimed Property Division has over $800 million just waiting to be claimed. Text Tamara and Nigel to 46220 or visit IndianaUnclaimed.gov to claim yours today.
Reach your fitness goals in 2025 with a 20-minute once-a-week program at Exercise Inc. 5 locations now in Fishers. Visit exerciseinc.com.
The Tony Kinnett Cast on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to the Tony Kinnett Cast. I'm Ethan Hatcher, filling in for Tony Kinnett, who will be returning on Monday. In the meantime, we're going to talk about accusation that was levied against sitting City Council member Nick Roberts that dates back a couple of weeks now, and this was posted in an Indianapolis Facebook group where they said, quote, "Good evening, ladies. Just a heads up. This man assaulted my 18-year-old stepdaughter while they were out on their second date. He groped her, and even as she tried to push him away, he tightened his grip, saying he likes how she's playing innocent. She feels as though the only reason he stopped is because someone walked by as she was trying to get away. I just wanted to share as a public safety announcement to keep the other women safe." This is an accusation that was levied against sitting City Council member Nick Roberts. And don't misunderstand, the City Council has certainly suffered from its fair share of sexual assault scandals. Of course, the most notorious of which being Thomas Carl Cook and his interaction with staffers in the City Council building that culminated in a report by Fishers Phelps law firm and his firing from the City Council. Of course, some would argue that that was not sufficient to the level that the level of wrongdoing that was enacted there. Elsewhere, you also have Greg Taylor, who had his share of accusers, and we took all of those very seriously here at WIBC. Nobody was engaging in victim blaming, and nobody certainly would make excuses for sexual assault. It's completely unacceptable. It's always been unacceptable, but especially so in 2025 when everybody involved should frankly know better. Fortunately, it seems that Nick Roberts kept the receipts in this case, and the best disinfectant is transparency, and he has stepped forward not only to share his side of the story, but also the text messages between himself and this young woman. Furthermore, a report was made to the Fishers police, who, after an investigation, concluded there was lack of sufficient evidence to pursue probable cause against the council member. This is what Nick had to say on his Facebook page.
Hey everybody, Nick Roberts here. I just want to take a moment real quick to speak directly to you all regarding a recent false allegation that was made against me. On July 12th, for the first time, I saw a secondhand defamatory post in a Facebook group which accused me of unwanted physical contact with a woman who I went on 2 dates with. First of all, I just want to completely deny the allegation of doing anything inappropriate. Quite frankly, I'm not sure why this slanderous post was made about me, but it's incredibly hurtful, and not just to me, but to my entire family and everyone who knows my character. I was raised to respect all people, and I would never engage in unwanted physical contact with a woman without her consent. Because I did nothing wrong, and because I value transparency, I just wanted to share the details of what actually happened. After her and I matched on the dating app Hinge, she texted me for the first time on June 29th to invite me to get brunch with her. At the end of the date, with her permission, I kissed her on the cheek. After the date, she texted me, and she appreciated that kiss and agreed that she would like more next time. She then asked me on a second date where we got ice cream and walked around Fishers. Both dates were in public, where we were just walking around downtown, and nothing inappropriate happened. We kissed consensually, which I had the text messages to prove, and the date proceeded as normal. At the end of this date, she once again leaned in for a kiss on the cheek, and we left in our own 2 cars.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
And it is a living nightmare when you find yourself the victim of baseless and spurious accusations against you that could damage both your character and your career. It's fortunate that in this digital age, we have fingerprints left behind for others to see. And in this case, he shared text messages with Mere Indy, who wrote in their article covering this scandal. The woman who met Roberts on the dating app Hinge said their first date together at a coffee shop in Carmel went really well. Before they parted ways, she She said he gave her a hug and a kiss and kissed her on the cheek. When she texted him later that day to thank him for the gesture, he said, "It was my pleasure, and you can get another and maybe more next time," according to the text messages that were viewed by Mere Indy. She said the remark left her feeling uncomfortable. Roberts said he interpreted her next text message, though, to be consent when she wrote, quote, "I hope so, and I'd like that." Now, producer Kylan is currently our board operator, and I will pose the question to you, Kylan, being a young lady. If a gentleman had kissed you on the cheek and then later texted that you can get another and maybe more next time, if you reply, "I hope so, I'd like that," with a smiley face, do you believe that you are implying consent with such a remark?
It sure does sound like consent.
It sure does sound that way.
And the second date obviously depends on how it goes, but consent is something that can always be taken away if feeling uncomfortable.
Sure.
So it's such an unfortunate situation for both sides. I hate that it's even something that you have to go through.
Yes.
For anyone.
You're right. And consent can be revoked. It's not, yes doesn't mean yes in perpetuity. It can be revoked at a later time. But by all appearances, it would seem that this interaction was not unwanted on the part of the recipient. Or on the part of Nick Roberts as well. Furthermore, the second date was said to take place at an ice cream shop and on the parts of the Monon Trail, which have cameras posted everywhere. These are in very public spaces. And so if an assault were to have occurred, it would seem highly likely that it would have been captured on one of these devices. However, since the Fishers Police Department said there was insufficient evidence to move forward with probable cause, it would appear that that is not the case. And it calls into question what accountability, if any, should be met on the part of the accuser if these baseless accusations are made, because these are career and character ending accusations. When you accuse somebody of sexual assault, that is not a small accusation. I mean, in this case, it could rise in the most severe instance to a criminal matter. And that's why it's made it so difficult for people to interact with the opposite sex. I feel is the case for a lot of young men who have to walk around on pins and needles lest they be falsely accused of things of this nature. And it's led to a vacuum of interaction between men and women that has left some women feeling wanting. This was a young woman on TikTok who was lamenting the fact that she is prettying herself up. She's walking through the park. She is wanting the attention of men. However, they're passing her by, probably for reasons like this, because if you approach another woman in public, you very likely could be accused of being a creep. Here was what she had to say about it.
Tell me why every day I go out looking adorable, bouncing, skin glistening, and yet nobody ever hits on me or approaches me. Ever. Oh my God, like please. I'll take a construction worker catcall at this point. Please.
Oh, what are the rules? What are the rules? What are the rules? What are the rules? When you've kept your brain, but the world's insane, how the hell you gonna find out the rules?
Weaponizing sexual assault accusations is the most duplicitous form of manipulation. And I think the legal counsel for young Nick Roberts had possibly the most measured response, not wanting to, accuse this woman of impropriety, but perhaps her parents, after staying out too late or not being aware of the date, she came up with this as a last-ditch effort to save face. But this is a very serious matter. And you should frankly know better at the age of 18. But it's unfortunate that he's found himself in this circumstance, especially when, the information as currently available would seem to indicate that he is not guilty of these accusations. Of course, more information could come to light, but at this time, again, the Fishers Police Department concluded that there was not sufficient evidence to move forward with probable cause. Lots of problems going on in the Indianapolis City Council, but by all appearances, this appears to be a nothing burger, and hopefully the young lady will learn from this and won't do it again in the future. Thanks for listening to the Tony Kinnett Cast. I'm Ethan Hatcher filling in, producer Kylan on the board. Stay tuned. We got more on the way.
Kendall and Casey.
What are we seeing right now on Capitol Hill? Everybody conforming, everybody standing together rather than people standing up for what's right. What did we see during the legislative session? All of these Republicans, nobody for the most part will stand up or be different or raise their voice or be heard, not doing the thing that brought them to the dance. They worry how it'll affect their power.
Kendall and Casey, weekdays 9 till noon on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
I've had my Window Nation windows installed for a couple of years now, and my air conditioner is no longer working overtime in the summer. These are the dog days of summer, but if your windows are old and drafty, time for some new Window Nation windows. Check it out, 50% off all window styles plus 0 interest for 5 whole years. All the details at windownation.com.
And when Window Nation comes out to your house, they are bringing the best of the best. A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, and their staff, years of experience. And look, when we have a heat wave like we had recently, I think you understand how important it is to have good windows that keep the blistering hot out and your perfect climate inside. 50% off all window styles. Any style at all, 0 interest until 2030. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The Tony Kinnett Cast on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to the Tony Kinnett Cast. I'm Ethan Hatcher filling in. If you missed a moment of the show, make sure to catch the podcast uploaded to WIBC under the Tony Kinnett Show page. You can also find my podcasts uploaded there under Saturday Night on the Circle, and I broadcast every Saturday from 7 to 9, so make sure to join the fun sometime. Hop in the chat room, say hello, and then you can also follow my @antics on the Twitter machine @Ethan Hatcher, ETHANHATCHER, and keep up with what's going on through the week during my downtime. This segment, however, I wanted to discuss the WNBA, and although I'm not a huge fan of sportsbasketball in any league, the WNBA has certainly made the rounds in the news this week. Of course, just a couple weeks ago, we had the All-Star game here in Indianapolis, and since that time, especially with Caitlin Clark stepping down for injury, it appears not all has been well with the participants of the WNBA. Most recently, a game was halted because one of the women had a rather unusual wardrobe malfunction when her wig fell off mid-game, and they brought it to a screeching halt to allow her to, I guess, glue it back on. How does one put on a wig, Producer Kylan? Do you glue it?
Yeah, if you have the glue, I'm assuming you'd bring it along with you. But yeah, you just run to the locker room, glue it back on. Yeah, it has to hold for a little bit, but yeah, go throw it back on. Good luck. The
thing is, this is not like a small wig. Like, I guess I could understand if it was a small hairpiece. This was like a ponytail dreadlocks that she had, and it flew off in the middle of the court. Very embarrassing, and this was the moment caught on tape.
And it bounced around a lot, but at the end, it went through the rim. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. She's going to go head to the back. Oh, no.
Timeout called
for Cropper to deal with the malfunction.
This is one of the reasons why the WNBA isn't being taken as seriously, because never in a million years would something like this stop professional sports from going on at the NBA. You don't have guys' toupees flying off in the middle of the game and then they got to stop and go back to the locker room to glue it back on. If the guys are bald, they're probably just going to shave their heads. Now, I know that's a different case for the ladies of the WNBA, but aren't you going to wear like a more reasonable hairpiece, something that isn't going to that when you're bouncing around and physically exerting yourself fall to the floor? I feel like that would have been a more reasonable call. And certainly when this is taking place right in front of you, you might be inclined to laugh. You may be inclined to joke around a little bit, as was the case for one of the members of the audience who was ejected from the game for making fun of this incident.
And now they have an issue with a fan as the officials, as Phoenix's bench had an issue. They're having Alyssa Thomas and Nate Tibbetts point out which fan it is so that security here at Care First Arena can have that dealt with. As we're waiting to get back to play here. So the officials are now talking to arena security here. As you can see,
leave Brittany alone, please.
So notice the accusation wasn't that they were using foul language, they weren't using slurs, they weren't being disruptive. Clearly an embarrassing incident happened, and one of the ways that humans in general deal with awkward situations is through humor. I feel like that's completely fair and understandable. The other thing is, this is a paying customer. Am I off base here, Kylan? Because I feel like when you are a paying customer, you obviously have the right to cheer, but you have the implied right to jeer as well. As a member of the audience, you can react and respond to what's going on the court, for better or for worse. If you're not using slurs, if you're not cursing, if you're not being disruptive, then I figure that's fair game. Am I off base?
Yeah, you know, in this world of digital receipts, like we talk about, I wonder if anyone has a video of them actually making fun, if it truly is just, oh, ooh, you lost your hair, ooh, or if it was more than just that.
Well, you heard you heard the official there. I mean, they had a golden opportunity. If they were using foul language, if they were using slurs, if they were being disruptive otherwise in any other way, sure, I could understand. But what they said is that they were making fun of the incident, and the way humans naturally, this is a reflex response dealing with an awkward situation, is through humor. I feel like that's fair game. But yes, of course, in this case, they were ejected from the stadium. Now, what I definitely don't think is appropriate, although humorous, nevertheless, another incident happened. I see Kyla, she's already laughing. Middle of the game, a flying sex toy was flung across the court. I'm not sure if they ever caught who was responsible for this, but a green object was bouncing its way across the court when the announcers caught it.
Hayes gets blocked by Maya Caldwell. Something flies on the court, actually, from the crowd. The officials will say they will continue play as that goes off the fingertips of the Valkyries.
And you can see the object, the block right there. The object comes, that green thing bounces, and it goes to the sideline. We're not exactly we're not sure where it came from.
No room for any of that type of activity.
Yeah, and no one's picked the object up yet. You guys, oh my gosh, okay.
I wouldn't want
to. Oh, that's terrible.
You seem kind of psyched.
No, I'm bummed. But I wasn't bummed. I I was stoked.
Okay, I mean, we can laugh about it now, but seriously, don't be throwing things on the court, if for no other reason than the safety of all involved. If that hits somebody across the side of the head, I mean, you could be talking about a potential injury there. So don't be doing that. Earlier in the day, producer Kylan, Brad was saying that one of those things could be upwards of $75. That's an expensive prank to play on someone. If you were spending $75 on a sex toy only to throw it across the court at the WNBA, I mean, we can all get our chuckles, but my goodness, don't you have better things to do with your day? I don't know.
And how in the world do you feel comfortable walking around? Well, you know what? People are crazy these days.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be questioning it.
You would hope that they had it in a bag or something, or, who knows where else that thing may have been. It's the mind wanders.
I wouldn't want to pick it up from the court either. Walking away.
Of course, when it was caught on television was the most humorous because they're trying to get a closer look, and the camera pans, and then once they make the identification, like right away, the cameraman swings the camera in the other direction. Whoopsie! That's not supposed to go on over-the-air broadcast television. That's not exactly family-friendly viewing. But, not all is well in the WNBA right now. A couple weeks ago when they were here in Indianapolis, one of the larger events that was a firestorm for national controversy was when the young women came out on the court with those black T-shirts that said, "Pay us what you owe us," which opened up just a huge debate on the value of the NBA, the value of the players, the revenue that's being generated. And, of course, many said that you can't pay these individuals more because right now it is a net loss venture that is being kept afloat by the charity of the NBA. One individual who countered that point came from a place that you might not expect, and this was Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports, who was actually going to bat for the ladies and saying that they were they deserve a higher share of the revenue based on the recent performance of the WNBA, largely driven by Caitlin Clark.
I don't know how anybody in the world with a brain, and maybe my brain is just bigger than most, can rationally say the women don't deserve more money at this point. Caitlin Clark's rookie salary is $76,000. Nikki Smokes, Mincy make more than her. It's insane. And I know what people are going to say. Well, this league has lost money. It's a charity league. The NBA subsidizes it, blah, blah, blah. This could have been true for the last 10 years or so. Fair argument. It's not true now. The WNBA is exploding by every single metric you look at. TV ratings, merch, revenue, ticket sales, you name it.
And at the top of the second half, it's 16-9. Easton leads the scoring with 4.
And that's why she commands $7,000 a year. These gals sure do make it look difficult.
But is having this minor skill worth being so unattractive? That's for the fan to decide.
Yay! And certainly, look, if the long-term trajectory of the NBA is more successful and this isn't just a flash in the pan, then yeah, they're in a position of negotiating strength to contractually get a larger percentage of the income than is currently being shared. But right now, it seems like any bump in revenue, any bump in merchandise is a flash in the pan that's largely being driven by Caitlin Clark. And we saw in the WNBA All-Star games, once it was made clear that she wasn't going to be able to participate, ticket prices plummeted because people are just following her. People are following her performance because by all accounts, she's running circles around a lot of the other women in the league with her talent. And yeah, people want to watch others succeed. People want to watch compelling sports stories. That's just part of the American fabric that we've woven. However, due to the aggressiveness that she's often treated, I think she's in danger. They're in danger collectively of killing the golden goose because one of these days, those girls are going to seriously injure Caitlin Clark with the aggressiveness that she's been treated on the field. And then if she goes away, there goes all your revenue. There goes the merchandise. There goes the fans. I'm not sure they're going to stick around for the long term. If they do, time will tell. Perhaps David Portnoy is correct, and he's got that big brain. He's smarter than the rest of us. But as of right now, I don't see it. Maybe I'm just short-sighted because I'm not a sports get ball fan, but the revenue does not seem there to justify it. Thanks for listening to the Tony Kinnett cast. We got a lot more on the way. Coming up next, we're going to talk about this $80 world's largest popcorn bucket that has been recently unveiled for Fantastic Four First Steps. Have you heard about this, Producer Kai?
No, but I'm intrigued.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll talk about it coming up next, so stay tuned.
When you wake up,
You understand this is about money. 1,000%. They started this.
when you work,
As long as the category was all Bruce Springsteen all the time.
I told you I think I could win a game of Jeopardy. I could not go on a run.
when you drive home,
Is it time to try something new, you think? Because it hasn't worked, and maybe try something new.
traffic when you need it,
Stopped on 465 again.
and updates all the time.
I'm Ryan Hedrick on the level, on the go.
Stay in the know wherever you go with 93 WIBC.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577.
Service today?
Today.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use, now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Tune in to the Absolute Retirement Planning Show.
When retirement comes about, we're now relying on what we have saved to meet those needs.
Sundays at 9 a.m. right here on 93 WIBC.
At Puccini's, we think less screen time and more quality mealtime is the better way. Eat, talk, and dine with less blue light glaring or talking heads blaring while enjoying great food at a reasonable price is the Puccini's way. Dine in for hot, delicious food prepared fresh and to your liking. If you need anything, we're right there so you'll leave full and happy. We have delivery options and carryout, but let's start dining in together again the way we all used to enjoy so much.
Puccini's Pizza, Pasta, Puccini's.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Now through Monday, save an extra 25% off all in-stock outdoor furniture. Sleep up to 10 degrees cooler and the lowest price guaranteed on every mattress. And save up to 50% off Lazy Boy, Smith Brothers, Flex Steel, and lift chairs. Plus, we pay your sales tax and deliver it all for free. Sale ends Monday only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken.
Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Join the Hammer and Nigel Show for Beer Sample Friday on opening day at the Indiana State Fair Tap Room. Beginning at 3 p.m. this Friday, enjoy the show and Indiana brews and cocktails. Enjoy Three Dog Night at the Hoosier Lottery Free Stage. Get your tickets online today.
Together, we can provide 1 billion meals by 2030, because everyone should be welcome at the table. Learn more at nourishingneighbors.com.
It's the Tony Kinnett Cast on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to the Tony Kinnett Cast. Ethan Hatcher filling in. You can hear my show Saturday nights on The Circle every Saturday from 7 to 9 and find my podcasts uploaded to WIBC.com as well as my personal podcasting page Saturday night on thecircle.fireside.fm. This segment I wanted to talk about that $80 popcorn bucket, producer Kylan. It is supposed to be the world's largest. It is an effigy of Galactus from the Fantastic Four movie, Fantastic Four First Steps, which is currently out in theaters right now, and it holds a whopping 381 odd ounces of popcorn. This thing is gigantic, and I guess it's got batteries somewhere inside to power blue LED eyes. It's crazy. It's huge.
Behold, from Fantastic Four, Galactus.
Here at the Chinese Theater, we are unveiling the wonderful, huge popcorn bucket that is the world's largest according to Guinness Book of World Records. And it is $80, and people are currently eating it up.
So I cannot wait to see this movie. Can't wait to see Galactus go crazy and eat some worlds. So yeah, I'm hyped.
Here at this wonderful theater, you can actually buy the biggest popcorn bucket ever in the world. That is the Galactus popcorn bucket from Fantastic Four First Steps. This is $80. It's massive at 20 inches wide and 17.5 inches tall. Carries 341 ounces of popcorn. Now, it has a beautiful detail with a metallic finish and piercing bright blue LED eyes. And you can purchase it here right at the TCL Chinese Theater.
I think these buckets are fantastic. I think the idea that the studios are doing this to get people back in the theaters is really cool. I obviously wouldn't have got this if I didn't come to the theaters, and I think it's like designed very well, and it's got a lot of popcorn, so cool.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
$80 for a popcorn bucket? Producer Kylan, that is absolutely out of control. Look, by yourself, you are committing yourself to a $100 theater experience just between the popcorn bucket and the tickets alone. I'm not even sure that popcorn bucket includes the cost of a drink with it. They're probably going to nickel and dime. Right, they're going to nickel and dime you to the end. That's nuts. Are you going to be dropping $110? Like, I like superhero movies. I like, merch like that. But $80 is a bridge too far for a popcorn bucket. It's not even something that's supposed to last.
If it did come with popcorn is about, I just went to the theaters. We spent about $20 for popcorn and a little bit of drink. So if you're paying $20 for popcorn, so that's like about a $60 helmet. If the popcorn does come with it, does that make it any better if you're buying it for $60 if the popcorn is included? If it's refillable, please let it be refillable.
Well, the large ones usually are refillable. The popcorn costs pennies on the dollar. That's where most of the theaters are making their profit. And I also get the merchandising because since fewer people are going to the movie theaters, that makes merchandising more important for these movies to push past the point of profitability, especially when you're dealing with budgets that go into the hundreds of millions of dollars. You are shackling yourself, forcing yourself to earn $500, $600, $700 million, and if you're not getting all that in ticket sales, then I guess you're getting it in tchotchkes like this popcorn bucket. But think about the cost for a family, Kylan, because if you're spending $100 just between the popcorn bucket and the movie ticket for yourself, if you're taking your kids and your wife with you, you're potentially committing yourself to a $200 or more day just to go to the theater. Who can afford that?
For 2 hours.
For a couple of hours.
In and out. Hey, but it does have kind of handles with how the helmet's shaped.
Yeah.
If that makes it any better.
At least you have a better grip. Is that a selling point?
You're not going to be dropping your popcorn.
You won't drop it. Next to Galactus' little ear fins there. Yeah. When was the last time you went to go see a movie?
I took advantage of the summer deals. They have AMC and Regal, all of them do different summer deals for kids. And so I went to the theater this week and watched Garfield movie for $1.
How was the new Garfield movie? That was the one with Chris.
Chris Pratt voiced Garfield. There were a lot of fun voice actors throughout it. I enjoyed it. I haven't seen any of the other Garfield movies, let me preface. And so just going into the Garfield thought, it was pretty cute. It had a nice comic animation style to it, similar to Bad Guy, but not fully diving into that style. It was just kind of fun, lighthearted.
I was a big fan of Garfield in the 90s. And, of course, Jim Davis being a Hoosier icon right here in Indiana. How can you not? Garfield.
Had all the comics. My dad loved them, so we have stacks of them in the attic still.
Last theater experience that I treated myself to was Father's Day. We went to a screening of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. And if anything, that reminded me of what used to make movies great. It was the actor and the story. It was the content of the film, not the tchotchkes and the merchandise surrounding it. People wanted to buy the fedora and the whip because Indiana Jones was cool, not because they needed to make the movie profitable. The movie was going to be profitable because Harrison Ford is a great actor and because George Lucas and crew wrote an amazing story to recapture the magic of those old 1930s serials. Like, that's what it was all about. It stood on the ground and the content of the film itself. That's something that I feel has been lost from the modern cinematic experience, something that is now being diluted by these merchandising opportunities. That shouldn't be what the movie is about. Thanks for listening to the Tony Kinnett Cast, 93 WIBC. Another film that's been out right now, and I saw this just the other day, was Netflix sequel to the beloved Happy Gilmore, which came out in 1996, Happy Gilmore 2.
My name is Happy Gilmore. 30 years ago, I decided to give golf a try. But even when you're at the top of your game, you can always shank one. Happy Gilmore sucks?
Oh, eat a bag of dicks!
How are you going to put Vienna through ballet school? It's $75,000 a year. That's 4 years. That's 333 grand.
That's terrible math, Johnny. It's 300 grand. I wouldn't even know where to start.
Let them see the happy I fell in love with.
Come on, you got to do it, Dad. All right, let's go. Let's go get him, Dad. What about the jig?
I know how to do it, Dad.
Let's go. Oh,
Daddy,
we got this.
What the hell is happening?
Happy Gilmore is breaking in yet another caddy he just met.
All right, we're going to go. See, but you bring those. Those always come. All right, that's it. They got a strap if you want to use the strap.
Here's the problem with Happy Gilmore 2 as I see it, producer Kylan. If you got to wait 29 years for a sequel, did you really need the sequel? This is following in, the tradition of like, Caddyshack 2 or Godfather 3. Some movies just don't need a sequel. Sometimes the first is sufficient, and I think, Happy Gilmore, the original, is a case in point of that. It wasn't a total Netflix disaster piece. There were humorous moments to it, seeing all the ways that Happy had hid his alcohol, mildly amusing. The cameos, I think, were the most entertaining part.
72, if I...
72?
Uh-huh. You'll have to go back and rewatch and see them all.
I know I missed a few. I missed Eminem. He was in it, and I didn't know that was him. I didn't even recognize him. Of course, John Daly, and there were lots of golf cameos. So, I mean, yeah, I guess if you're a fan of the sports and you like golf, then maybe the cameos are going to do something for you. But overall, after I was done, I just kept asking why. It got better as it went along. Again, it wasn't a total disaster, but the first 10 minutes were so bad that I almost walked away entirely. It could have been better, but it also could have been much worse. Unfortunately, that's all the time I got, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for spending the evening with me. I appreciate it. And you can hear me again this Saturday, 7 to 9 on Saturday night on The Circle. And Tony Kinnett will be back on Monday. Have a wonderful evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
The Attorney General's office wants to put your money back in your pocket. Visit indianaunclaimed.gov and search for yourself, your loved ones, or your business. It's fast, easy, and free.
I'm Angelique Gibson. I'm in union labor from Local 120.
For members of Labor's International Union of North America, like Angelique, giving back is part of their commitment to the Indy community.
The main thing I volunteered for was the Back to School Bash. It's a backpack program for kids 12 and under.
When Indy or surrounding communities need help, LIUNA steps up
When kids go back to school, they don't have backpacks 9 times out of 10, low-income families, and this just helps them out.
For the members of LIUNA who volunteer, it's commitment to being part of something bigger than themselves.
You know, when they start school on that first day, they got pencils, they got papers, they got notebooks, they got binders.
This is Chris Bricky, Business Manager of Labor's Local 120. While all our members are skilled, highly trained men and women, we are also your friends, neighbors, Little League coaches, and volunteers here in Indy.
I just feels good to knowing that I'm helping somebody that needs help.
We build Indy for good jobs and stronger communities. We are LIUNA Local 120.
So, where's the lake?
Not here.
But it says Great Lakes Honda of Fishers.
Right. I just don't see a lake.
Who needs a lake when you can lease a 2025 HRV LX all-wheel drive for $329 a month and 0 down?
That definitely won't soak our bank account.
Oh, it's the old Honda of Fishers.
Great Lakes, great people, great cars.
But no actual lake.
Visit us off State Road 37 for special pricing during our summer sales event. With approved credit through Honda Finance.